Namaste, this is Samta Auntie. In this video, we are going to talk about color words in Hindi and inflection. Here's what we're going to cover. What is inflection? We'll review color word vocabulary, which color words inflect, if they inflect, how so, and how to use the correct inflection. First, let's talk about what inflection is. Inflection means that the ending of the word changes. So what does that mean? Well, it's best to try to look at an example to explain it. The Hindi word for boy is ladka, and the word for girl is ladki. Do you see how the two words are the same except for the endings? Well, that's inflection, when the ending of the word changes. Now, ladka and ladki are nouns, right? But guess what? Inflection applies to nouns. It can also apply to adjectives. And today we are talking about color words, which are adjectives. And there are three groups of color words in Hindi. There are the ones that end with an a sound. There are the ones that end with an e sound, and the ones that don't end with either one. They don't end with a or e. The ones that end with an a sound inflect. That means their endings change. The ones that end with the e sound do not inflect. Their endings never change. And the same thing applies to the ones that don't end with a or e. Their endings never change either. So again, the only color words that end with an a are the ones that inflect. Now let's review the vocabulary for the Hindi colors so we can determine which ones inflect and which ones don't. What is red in Hindi? Lal. Does it end with an a sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. Orange is narangi. Does it end with an a sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. What about yellow? What is yellow in Hindi? Pila. Does it end with an a sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. But how? How does it change? Well, there are two inflections, pili and pile. So the word could change from pila to pili or from pila to pile. Let's look at green next. What is green in Hindi? Hara. Does it end with an a sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. So what are the inflections? Hari and hare. So hara can become hari or it can become hare. Let's do blue. What's blue in Hindi? Neela. Does it end with an a sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. And what are those inflections? Hopefully you're starting to see a pattern. Neela can become neeli or it can become neele. All right, what's purple in Hindi? Bangani. Does it end with an a sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. What's pink in Hindi? Gulabi. Does it end in an a sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. What's black in Hindi? Kala. Does it end with an a sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. And what are the inflections? Kala can become kali or it can become kale. Gray. What's gray in Hindi? Saleti. Does it end with an a sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. What's white in Hindi? Safed. Does it end in an sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. Brown in Hindi is bhura. Does it end with an sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. And what are the inflections? Bhuri and bhure. Turquoise. What's turquoise in Hindi? Firozi. Does it end with an sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. Golden is sunera. Does it end with an sound? Hanji. So does it inflect? Hanji. And the inflections are suneri and sunere. And silver. Silver in Hindi is chandi. Does it end with an sound? Nahi. So does it inflect? Nahi. So here we can see all of the color words that inflect and all of the ones that don't. On the left, you have all of the ones that inflect, and on the right, all of the ones that do not inflect. So how do you know which inflection to use? Well, to understand that, we have to understand nouns in Hindi. What's a noun? A noun is a person, place, thing, animal, or idea. There are nouns all around us. And in every single noun falls into one of these categories. In Hindi, remember, every single noun falls into one of these categories. The pull category is the male category, and the stri category is the female category. So there are these two categories, and again, every single noun falls into one or the other. So people are nouns, and when we're talking about people, it's easier to identify their noun category because males are in the pull category and females are in the stri category. But what about things like shirts and pants? How do we identify the noun category for a shirt? Well, we have to ask ourselves, are shirts a Mr. or a Mrs.? Are pants a Mr. or a Mrs.? And don't think, well, I'm a girl, so for me, shirt is stri. That's not how it works. Each noun is pre-assigned to one of these categories, either pull or stri. It doesn't matter whether you are a boy or a girl. What matters is whether the shirt is a pull noun or a stri noun. Same thing with pants. What matters is whether the pants are a pull noun or a stri noun. And I know this seems confusing or maybe even kind of silly. But remember, every language of the world has its rules. And these noun categories are a part of Hindi. So now that means we need to ask ourselves, how do you know which category the noun is in? How do you know if the noun is a pull noun or if it's a stri noun? Well, there are two simple rules to follow. If the Hindi word for the noun ends with an a sound, then it's usually a pull noun. And if the Hindi word for the noun ends with an e sound, then it's usually a stri noun. Now, I said the word usually, and the reason I did is because there are some nouns that don't follow these rules. There aren't a lot of them, but there are some. So it's good for us to be aware of that, but for right now, when we're starting to practice, don't worry about that. Right now, you can follow these rules. If the noun ends with an a sound, it's pull. If the noun ends with an e sound, it's stri. Now, one thing I want to point out is I did not say that the spelling of the word ends with an A or that the spelling of the word ends with an EE. I didn't say that. I specifically said if the noun ends with an A sound or if the noun ends with an E sound. If it ends with an A sound, pull. If it ends with an E sound, stri. So what I'm trying to point out to you is to focus on the sound, the ending sound of the word, not the spelling. Okay? That's really important to remember that. Let's look at an example. Eyeglasses in Hindi are called chashma. The word chashma ends with an A sound. So are chashma pull or stri? They are pull because they end with an A sound. But now, what if we want to add the word black to say black glasses? Well, now this is where we're going to combine our nouns with our color words. As you know, black in Hindi is kala. Does it end with an A sound? Yes. So does it inflect? Yes. And what are the inflections again? Kali and kale. So which one do we use for black glasses? Well, this is a chart that will tell us the rules. Kala is for singular pull nouns. Singular means one. So when we have one pull noun, we use kala. Kali is for singular and plural stri nouns. So an easier way to say that is for stri nouns, we use kali. And kale is for plural pull nouns. So when we have more than one pull noun, plural means more than one. When we have more than one pull noun, we use kale. Now let's look at another example. Again, eyeglasses are called chashma. And the word chashma ends with an A sound. So chashma are pull or stri. Pull, right? Now, what about the word underwear? Underwear in Hindi are called chaddi. And that word ends in an E sound. So are chaddi pull or stri? They are stri, right? So since chashma is a pull noun, to say black sunglasses, we use the pull inflection kala. So we would say kala chashma. And since chaddi is a stri noun, to say black underwear, we use the stri inflection kali. So it becomes kali chaddi. Now let's do an example where there is more than one. What if there were 3 pairs of black sunglasses or 3 pairs of black glasses? Then it would be teen kale chashma. Teen kale chashma. So now we use the inflection of plural pull nouns. Kale. So let's look at the chart again. Because it was 3 chashma, we use kale because look at the chart. Kale is for plural pull nouns. Now, what if there were 2 pairs of black underwear? So underwear, remember, is chaddi, and that's a stri noun. So that would become kali chaddi, do kali chaddi. And again, looking at the chart, because kali is the inflection that we use for stri nouns. Okay, so we have these helpful rules for how to identify nouns that end with an a or an e sound to decide if they're pull or stri. But what do we do when the Hindi word for the noun doesn't end with a or e? What do we do then? How do you identify the noun category? Well, let's look at an example. In Hindi, skirt is called scarf. That doesn't end with an and it doesn't end with an e. But we can think about it this way. In general, who wears skirts? Boys or girls? Mostly we see girls wearing skirts. So a good guess is that this is a stri noun. Now that works for this one, but I'll be honest. Not all nouns that don't end with a or e follow this. So the best we can do is to learn them one by one and practice and practice and practice so that we get better and better and it becomes part of our memory. So you can see now why learning the vocabulary is so important in Hindi. For the color words that don't inflect, it doesn't matter whether the noun is pullers 3 because the color word doesn't change. So for example, if we want to say purple skirt, it's always going to be bangani skirt. There's no such thing as bangana. And the same thing for gulabi skirt, pink skirt. There's no such thing as gulaba. Those words never change. Remember we said that only the color words that end with an a sound inflect. The rest of them do not. And there you have a review of which Hindi color words inflect and how to use them. In class, you're going to have many opportunities to practice this. So keep reviewing this video so you understand the concepts. For now, dhanyavad for joining me. I'll see you in class.